Why spend money on a skincare routine if you're going to use it improperly and waste the money anyway? In today's video, I want to talk about what order to use your skincare products in. A lot of people seem to have questions about this, and I thought back to when I was growing up. My parents taught me how to tie my shoes, they taught me how to brush my teeth, but no one ever taught me how to concentrate, how to study. They taught me to wash my face, but not what order to use my products in, or if I'm dealing with a breakout, I should look for something different than if I'm looking to mitigate under-eye bags or prevent wrinkles. So as someone who had to learn this the hard way, I want to share with you what I've learned and specifically make it a little bit easy, because there's so much out there and companies are trying to sell us so many things that it can be very, very frustrating. And for me, it breaks down into three main sections that have subsections. The three main ones are cleansing is first, then consistency, then complete. And within each of those, there are different products you can choose. As long as you have one in each of these, you should be pretty good. But depending on your skin's needs, they're going to be a little bit different. So I created a helpful little graphic to help us visualize and understand this. But let's get back to the basics of skincare. We've talked about this in a skin science episode, but let's break it down line by line. How should you be using your skincare products? And if you want to add a new one in, where does it belong? So first off, cleanse. This is kind of the first step, whether it's in the morning and you're washing off whatever happened overnight, or if it's the end of the day and you're removing makeup or your sunscreen. Cleansing is really important. It not only purifies the skin, but it removes anything on top that's grody and built up. So if you do wear makeup at night, you want to make sure to remove that makeup. Of course, makeup can cause issues and acne breakouts if that is something you're prone to. And even if you don't wear makeup, you should use a cleanser. Again, breaking down the dirt, the oil, and if you have something that has antioxidants in it, just naturally by being in the sun and living in a city or even in a rural area, stuff gets put on our face, whether that's the exhaust from cars or the dirt that we kick up when we're doing a jig, because you would totally do a jig on a normal day, right? So cleansing would come after your makeup removal. And that's kind of what the double cleanse system is. People gave it that name, but it's just the idea that you cleanse twice. You remove your makeup first, then you do your actual cleanser. And the way makeup is formulated, the best thing to remove makeup is really oil-based products. They actually break down the molecules in makeup, whereas if you don't use something that breaks it down, you're just kind of wiping makeup residue all over your face, and you're like, meh, looks clean, but it might not actually be. And that's why the double cleansing system can be helpful. And then again, the actual cleansing portion is where you're cleaning the face, removing anything else that might be left over. Something you could put in the cleanse category is exfoliation. Exfoliation can be manual or it can be chemical. So again, a physical exfoliant, which might have grains like of rice or sandy texture, and then a chemical exfoliant might be things like acids, such as a salicylic acid or things like that. But if you are using some sort of a scrub or an exfoliant 1 to 3 times a week, you want to do this in the cleansing area, because again, you're removing that top layer of the skin. The skin has multiple layers. The top layer is the epidermis, the stratum corneum. This comes off naturally, and we just kind of want to help it out because sometimes it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. After the cleansing is done, then we get into consistency. And this is my favorite part, because this is the kind of stuff that stays on the skin. This is the kind of stuff that can actually penetrate. And usually these are the serums, the moisturizers, and the toners that really help to impact our skin positively and give us some really good actives. So again, what does consistency mean? Think of viscosity. How thick is a product? If I put a really thick cream on my skin, do you think that something like a water emulsion or a really lightweight oil is going to be able to penetrate? Probably not very well. And that's why you want to do consistency from lightest to heaviest. So the first thing you want to do is your toner. Some toners can be dangerous because they have alcohol, which can be very drying and stripping to the pores. And the purpose of a toner is to tone the skin, balance the pH so that your other products penetrate deeper, and rebalance the skin, because sometimes cleansers can be a little bit too harsh. They can strip a little bit too much, so the toner kind of gives some of that back. Some toners do have moisturizing ingredients or active ingredients, such as like a vitamin C or something. For me, I like to save those for my serum or my moisturizer to do the work, but a toner can have them. And again, a toner is this lightweight, almost watery substance that you might use to kind of get rid of your blackheads. Just make sure that all of your makeup is gone and really just tone the skin. Then what would come next? A lightweight serum or a thick moisturizer? I think you know where we're going with this. A lightweight serum is really great because it penetrates the skin deep. And serums really have small molecules, so they get where they need to go. And again, this is where I love to use things like, salicylic acid or ferulic acid with the vitamin C, glycolic acid. any of these actives that say that they have peptides or are collagen boosting. Those are all kind of buzzwords, but they're actual words in biochemistry and chemistry that tell us about what a product does when a certain ingredient is combined with our natural body's biology and how it works. And again, this is where I love serums. I think that serums can pack such a punch in such a small little amount, and this is the step that you want to use them in. Now, once that serum is on your face, you still might feel dry. You still might need some moisture, or you just might want to seal it in. That's where your moisturizer comes in. Your moisturizer is really great because this kind of sits on top of the skin. It hydrates the outer layers of the skin, whereas the serum got really deep. And the moisturizer can have some beneficial ingredients in it too. But overall, it's supposed to not only hydrate the skin, but it also protects you from the outside world a little bit. You know, if it's super dry outside, your moisturizer is going to deflect against that. And a lot of people don't realize how important moisturizers are, even for oily prone skin. If you do have oily skin, your skin might be oily because it's actually super dry. If my skin is super dry, what does my body do? My body is smart. It's like, hey, we're gonna pump up the oil because it's so dry in here. So then it creates too much oil because it's just too good at what it already does. And I end up looking like a grease bucket by 9:03 a.m., right? So for those who do have oily skin, don't be afraid of a moisturizer. Some people might need one that's more lightweight. Some people might need one that's super hydrating. And for every person's skin, that's going to be different. But the moisturizer kind of goes on top, locks everything in, and prepares you to complete. Now, just cleansing and doing consistency doesn't mean you're done. You really have to complete everything. And depending on day or night, that's going to be different. Now, you should not be going outside without SPF. Even if you're sitting inside of a car, UVB rays and UVA rays can be very damaging. UVB, I want you to think of UV burn, and UVA, UV aging. Now, when it comes to glass and car windows like that one, the UVA rays penetrate through, but the UVB doesn't. And that's why you can sit in a car for a really long time and not get a sunburn. But you could still be damaging your skin on a cellular level, causing some DNA changes, which can cause aging, which can cause damage, and which can help degrade the collagen in your skin. The collagen is like the rubber bands that kind of hold everything together, collagen and elastin. And we don't want that to happen. And then also, if you are in the sun, you know, you don't want UVA or UVB rays to hit you, because not only for those cosmetic reasons, but they can cause cancer, they can cause melanoma. And having grandparents that died of different types of cancer, that process is not fun to see anybody go through. And I wish that I paid more attention to this when I was young. When I was little, I would get pissed off because my mom was like scrubbing me down with sunscreen. I'd be like, I just want to go in the pool, Mama, leave me alone. And like, I would even bite her. Like, I was so bad when I was 4 years old. But now as I've gotten older, I recognize why she did that. And I appreciate that. And now I take the liberty to do this to myself because I don't want to be unprotected, especially because, in my opinion, prevention is easier than treatment. Now, I've done a lot of videos on sunscreen. I prefer using physical or mineral sunscreens over chemical sunscreens. And remember, chemicals are not bad. You and me and the water we drink, they're all made up of chemicals in some shape or form. So don't demonize chemicals. But in this stance, I have some opinions on chemical sunscreen because of some articles that were published recently. And until we know more information, I don't want to be putting them on my skin. So there's a video about that. But your sunscreen should be a part of an everyday routine, and you really need to find one that works with everything else you're using. Because if you're using a sunscreen that acts as a moisturizer, you're going to need a lighter weight moisturizer or none at all. And if you have a sunscreen that kind of gets pilly and balls up on the skin, you're going to need to apply your makeup differently if you are applying makeup. And that's where we get into another step when it comes to complete, which for some people might be makeup. Not every person needs makeup. I don't think that the way makeup is sold to us is always super healthy. As someone who has struggled so much with understanding my own skin and being okay with my physical appearance, I've struggled a lot with the way media portrays beauty and how entwined that is with wearing makeup. And for most women, it's a ritual that they do every single day. And again, I don't think that's bad, more power to you. But I also don't think that it is always necessary. We should have the days where we don't feel obliged to use it. and we should be okay with that. But if makeup is a part of your routine, this is where you want to apply it. You want to apply it after your sunscreen. And you do you, boo. There's a bunch of makeup tutorials on YouTube that can teach you how to apply your makeup or your foundation in a way that works for you. And remember that when it comes to sunscreen, the general consensus is that you need to reapply every 2 to 4 hours. This, of course, depends on the SPF and also your natural Fitzpatrick level, your natural phototype. Everybody's skin is different, and some people naturally are more protected from the sun if they have more melanin, whereas people who don't have more melanin are less protected from the sun. And applying sunscreen over makeup can be really tricky. There are some SPF powders and there are some sprays and ways to do it, but that, my friends, is for another video. The very last thing we have to think about is face masks. And face masks, I would argue, are one of my favorite parts of a routine because it kind of puts me into relaxation mode. Face masks can do a lot of amazing things when it comes to your pores, how it impacts them, how they penetrate, the different types of masks that you can have. But you also have to remember that not all masks are masks. If I have a peel-off mask, think about it, that's peeling off the skin, that's acting more like an exfoliator. If I have a sheet mask, well, it's more like a serum, right? And if I have a clay mask, which is my personal favorite, that's actually going to sit on the skin and act a little bit like a cleanser. So the masks are tricky because the way that they're sold to us is not intuitive. They're selling you a mask, but really they're selling you a serum with a little sheet, right? We have a video on that too, and if you want to watch it, you can see here. If you want the skin science version of this video, you can watch it right here or here. And I hope that you enjoyed. Always remember to be beautiful, get inspired by your skin and the things you see every single day. And I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.